Hi, I'm Stefano from Italy. In this video, we show you how to use and how to program our new TC Plus control mounted on our manual machines.
The main screen appears like you see it here. This is to move the actuators and the axis manually. This icon is to run a program in automatic. This icon is to select the language. You can change also from millimeter to inches. Make the Z-axis origin, the reference point of the axis, the data logger where you can see the machine production, and the reserved area that is for use of technicians. This button is to create your programs. Let's start with the manual page. So here you can make the reference point of the y-axis or of the b-axis. Change from incremental to absolute values and make the origin. Z-axis is to move manually the Z-axis. Let's start from the manual page. On this page, you can set the ref point of the y-axis or of the b-axis. Change from incremental to absolute values. You can move the Z-axis and all the actuators individually to make a setup of the tooling, for example. I select Z-axis, press plus, and then the button in the center. And the Z-axis will move and will stop only when you release the button. The bend arm is now open, so I show you, for example, I select booster, plus, and the booster moves forward. Minus, and the booster goes back. I move my Z-axis in its origin. So, clamp. Now first we make the bend eye return. To go back with the bend eye. Clamp, plus, and the button in the center will close the clamp. Minus will open the clamp. Mandrel, plus, and the button in the center will move the mandrel forward. Minus will move the mandrel back. Pressure die, with plus it will close, with minus it will open. Collet, plus, and minus. The tube lubrication can be selected just when the pump is connected. LS are my limit switches. I need this button to set the pressure on the clamp and on the pressure die. So if I put the limit switches on off and I select the clamp, I close, and I can see raising the pressure on the clamp. And by turning the knobs, I can increase or decrease the pressure on the clamp. If I select pressure die, always with limit switches on off, I will set the pressure on the pressure die. Same thing. On the collet, the pressure must be set very low. 20 bars are enough. Attention then, put back the limit switches on once you set the pressure on the machine. Then, always in manual, we have Y-axis lock and B-axis lock. By pressing this, I will activate my mechanical stops on Y and on B. Here I have all the mechanical stops for the length, and here you can see the pin coming in and out if I press Y-axis lock or unlock. The same is for B. The same is valid for B. I have all the mechanical stops for the rotation that I can set, and here is a pin coming up and down. How to create a program? I go in programming, I select an existing program, and I overwrite it. Here I can insert information about my tube diameter, the thickness, the material, if there has been done a particular offset, the code of the former, of the counterbending die or of the clamp, and the comment. This is just for information to remember that I did this program with that tooling or this tube. You go forward, you select first row, for example 45 degrees, you insert the spring back angle, the anticipated manual retraction, that is a value between 3 and 5 is normally okay. The general speed of the bend, I put it at 100%. Then I can edit this value in automatic. A second bend, if there is. And again, the speed. Once I did the program, I go back, I can save it, then this button means read. So, because if you recall a program, I'll show you an example. You see, I have always this information. So with read, I recall the information from the other program. I reselect my program, I read it, and I transmit it to the automatic page. Then there are other buttons. This is to export a program on a USB key. This is to import a program from a USB. This is to cancel the program, to eliminate, to cancel completely the program, and this is only to cancel the rows of the program. Once I have transmitted the program to automatic, I go in my automatic page. So you see the program name, the first bend 45 degrees, my spring back angle, my anticipated manual extraction. Again, I can select my units, if absolute or incremental. I can put them back on 0. I can use the mechanical stops. And here I have the speed of the program. If I put this value on 50, it means that the program, the bend will be executed at 50% of 100, so of the speed that I set in the program. If I put it at 100, it will do it at 100% of the speed I set in the program. I can open or close the collet also from here. So this is to open the collet, this is to close the collet. This is the button will light when the machine is running, so if when it's bent, and when it will go back to 0, you will see the button homing. Now the machine is in standby modus. So to go off this, I must just press the button. I press the button for 2 seconds, and the machine will go out the standby modus. Before running the program, I can select if I want to bend with manual or if without manual. So on 0, the manual movement will not happen. On 1, the manual will move forth and back. Pressure die, if the button is on 0, the pressure die will just go in position, but will not push. So it goes in position and it remains there. If I put it on 1, it goes in position and then pressure is applied on the tube. If I want to use the booster or not, so with the booster on 0, the booster will not move forward. On 1, it will move forth and back. Clamp means, like with the pressure die, if it is on 0, the clamp will just close, but there will be no pressure applied. If it is on 1, pressure will be applied. If I have a lubrication system, I switch it on and I can select if I want a temporized lubrication, if I wanted just one shot during the bend, or if I want the pulses. The reset button to reset the cycle. Step control. When the button is on off, the machine will perform the whole automatic cycle. When the button is on, the machine will perform a step-by-step function. So after each movement, I have to press again the button in the center. The bend die control on C return means when it is on off, it will go directly back to 0. If it is on, it will keep the angle. What does it mean? While the bend arm is returning to 0, the former will remain at a certain position. Clamp control, on or off. When the button is on off, the machine will close the clamp, the pressure die, manual in, and make the bend. When it's on, before starting the cycle, it gives me the possibility to open the clamp again. If I have positioned the tube wrong, I have the chance to reposition the tube and then start the cycle. And cycle manual in means that the button on off, the manual will retract and remain back. When the button is on, at the end of the last programmed bend, the manual will come forward. This might be helpful if I have short tubes and I want to remove them from the machine. So the manual practically pulls out the tube from the machine. To make a dry run, now I go on off. I don't want to move my manual. My pressure die have not to push. I don't want to move the booster. I have no lubrication. I just want the clamp to keep the pressure. I am in standby modus now, so I press the joystick for 2 seconds and the pump starts again. I press now plus and the button in the center. You see, the machine is waiting for the command plus. So without releasing the button in the center, I press plus and the cycle will start. It will go automatically to the second bend, 135 degrees. You saw the manual is not moving, the booster is not moving because I am making it without the tube. So again, plus and I start again from the first bend. I can close or I can open the collet also from here. The collet will open then automatically when it passes on the micro switch that is on the front of the machine. Here I have an alarm list where you can see if any alarms occur. If not, we clear them. In the settings, you can set the language. we make the offset of the former. We swap from millimeter to inches. We can shut off or on the pump. We make the reference point of the axis, and we have the data logger, where I can set a certain period and make a report of the machine. So you can see here what the machine did. We did now 3 times the program test Stefano. You have the average cycle time, the total cycle time, the power consumption of the machine. And this report can be printed out or transferred via USB.
Thanks for watching our online video tutorials. Please follow us on our channels, and for any question or doubts, contact your Ercolina partner. Ciao!